God created initially an earth that was formless, void, and dark. That's what Genesis 1:2 tells us. And over the course of the creation week, he reverses each one of those. First of all, he says, let there be light, and there's light. Then he gives form to the world by moving water around and by setting up structures so there is an order in the world. And then after he's established the various rooms of the creation, he fills those rooms with living things, with plants, and then later with living creatures, birds, fish, land animals, and so on. We think that this entire creation week comes to a climax with the creation of man on day 6. The land animals are created on day 6, man is created on day 6, and we think that's how the work of creation comes to its climax. But in fact, there are a couple of verses right at the end of Genesis 1 that go beyond that. After the Lord has created everything, after he's formed everything, before he takes his rest, he does one last thing, and that is to issue an invitation to a banquet. The last thing in the creation week is God saying to man, behold, I put before you all the vegetation that I have created. It's yours for food. And then he extends the invitation to all land creatures. Everything that I have made is food for you. Specifically, what God has made at that point are grasses that have seeds in them. In other words, grain plants, trees that have fruit in them, fruit trees and other fruiting plants. In other words, he's made wheat and grapes. He's made bread and wine, or the rudiments of bread and wine. And at the end of the creation week, he spreads out this table. God's entire purpose in the creation week is to spread out a table and create a world that will be a banquet hall for man and for all creatures. He's created a temple where man can eat, drink, and rejoice in his presence, where all creation can eat, drink, and rejoice in his presence, and share in his rest. Before he goes into rest, he spreads this table so that his creation can share in that rest. And as we come to the Lord's table, we are sharing in those good things, those original foods of bread and wine, of grain and grapes. We're sharing those original foods in a meal of the new creation. Every time we sit down at the Lord's table, we are declaring that we are reintegrated into creation as new creatures in Christ, destined for a new creation that will be consummated at the last day.